So then, speaking of my solar LED strip light, that is controlled by this RV light switch. So this room here is off of this light switch, and then this controls the strip lights in the other part of the shop. So this is actually UL listed. This is exactly what they use in RVs. And then instead of cutting it into the wall, I just chose to leave the wiring on the surface. So I just milled out a wooden mounting block with a little recess in the back for the wires, and that works pretty good. Yeah, so for the wiring, I have what's called CL2 Class 2 14 gauge 2-conductor wire, and it's rated for in-wall use. It's UL listed and has non-flammable insulation and all that good stuff. I use that for wiring. Being it's stranded, it's a little more flexible and easy to work with. This might not look like much, but this gives me what I call my energy diversity. If the sun's shining like it is today, I can use this switch to turn my lights on and off. And if it's nighttime or it's a cloudy day and I'm not getting any solar, I flip this switch and I can have grid power. And if the grid goes out, I flip that switch. So, like I say, it doesn't look like much, but this gives me total control over where I get my energy from. This is about 25 watts of solar power, and this switch is about 60 watts. So that's about 85 watts if I were to turn both switches on. And on a really cloudy day, I might not be getting that much excess power. It comes down to, do I want to charge my batteries on a cloudy day, or do I want to have lights? So I can make that decision and just not use the solar lights if it happens to be very cloudy. And then let me show you where these lights hook up. I showed this on an earlier video, but here's the RV light switch. These wires come down, basically just a runner down from my power strip, goes through the switch, and then the other runner wire goes back up, and those go up here to my little 12-volt power panel and light dimmer. So this wire here coming down, that's my incoming power. I have up above there's a DC fuse panel, so I have a 7.5 amp fuse feeding this particular wire here. That comes down, and then from there a wire comes down to the switches, and then one of these wires comes back up to the dimmer, and then goes from the dimmer out to the two banana jacks that I plug the lights into. So that's one of my little DC power panels, whatever you want to call it, terminal blocks. So on a day like today, it's sunny, I just turn the grid off and I don't use it. And that way I use solar power during the day when it's available. And the nice thing about doing it this way is I'm using this power. It's coming right off the solar panels, right through the solar charge controller, out the DC load output of the charge controller into this switch, and then it runs right back up the wires to the LEDs. So I'm not having to store that power in a battery. I'm just using it right now as it's coming in off of the solar panels. Yeah, so to wrap up here, there's my converted fixture. Has the two 20-watt T8 LED tubes. That's 4,000 Kelvin. And then on the side, I have the 2700 Kelvin solar LED strip lights, and those are the double density, so that's 600 LED elements, and that's about 2 amps of power, maybe 25 watts. Nice thing is that 25 watts is free. It's coming off the solar panels right now, coming out of the DC load output of my charge controller and going right to the LEDs. That I have to pay for. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you my dual lighting power system. So I can have solar lights or grid lights as the need be. And I just do that by which switch I choose to turn on. So if you have any questions about the system, post that up in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel for future updates. And as always, thanks for watching.